Hello, Cycle for Change is back. I'm back. I've actually been saying I'm back for about 2 weeks now, so it's about time I actually put myself in front of the camera and explain what's going on. So thank you to all the people who have sent well wishes and asked what's going on. I can actually reveal now what is happening. So on the 21st of October, I am going to be starting Cycle for Change Part 2, and that is going to be starting in Edinburgh. That's right, I'm heading back to Scotland. I do have a Scottish score to settle. On Cycle for Change Part 1, I was just completely bombarded with so much bad weather and a little bit of bad luck as well. We had Storm Arwen, we had Storm Barra, and we had the return of Omicron, the sort of COVID variant that came back and caused so many problems. But the weather was the main problem, and that slowed down my progress getting up towards Scotland. I had to kind of abandon my plans, cut across Scotland and head down, and then cut things short 2 weeks early in Wales because of other problems. So it was an amazing success, Cycle for Change Part 1. Fantastic, we raised over almost £8,500, which together that funded about 67,000 square metres of rainforest for the Wildland Trust. So it was an amazingly successful project, but I've always been left with that feeling that I could have done a little bit more. Those 2 weeks that I didn't give at the end, I feel like I owe that to Wildland Trust, I owe that to the people that supported, and I kind of owe it to myself as well. And yes, personally, I am a bit gutted that I never got to really see more of Scotland. So that's my plan. 2 week special. I'm going to get a train to Edinburgh and then going to cycle as far as I can anti-clockwise around the coast of Scotland. Now, in an ideal world, get the little tiny map out. In an ideal world, I would start here in Edinburgh and I would cycle around the coastline all the way to Glasgow. Now, in 2 weeks, that's a hell of a task. That's a long way. So I'm not going to get that far, let's be honest. I've no idea how far I am going to get. Maybe if things work out, I might get as far as Fort William. Who knows? I might have to sort of end up in Ullapool, Thurso. Who knows? I might only get to Inverness. It's not the point. It's the same ethos as before. It's going for as far as I can, as long as I can, in the conditions I'm presented with. I just don't know how it's going to work out. But fingers crossed, it's going to be a slightly different approach this time. It's going to be mostly wild camping because it's Scotland. I can camp where I like, and I'm going to be trying to cycle for as far as I can every day, wild camp as often as possible, and really push the journey as far as I can with a bit more of a leash. I'm not bound by the accommodation I'm presented with. It was amazing, the accommodation I had on the first time round, but this time it's going to be a little bit different because hopefully I can wild camp more, I can go further each day. As before, it is supporting the incredible Wildland Trust. Now, I can't stress how important that is enough. I'll go through this in so much more detail in my other videos, but we've all seen this summer the devastating effect that climate change is having on the planet. And sadly, the worst effects we're not even seeing. They're happening at the poles. There is so much less ice than there ever has been before. That means rising sea levels. That has incredible knock-on effects all around the world. We've seen wildfires, we've seen mudslides, we've seen flooding, we've seen earthquakes. There's all sorts of things that are happening, and there can only be one answer. It can only be climate change. We know that now. It's not a myth, it is a fact. We know it's happening. But one of the most effective things that we can do to combat against climate change is to preserve and protect natural environment. Those carbon capture areas, those natural habitats for wildlife, if we can preserve them, we stand a bit more of a chance of actually doing something positive to fight back against the effects of climate change. And that's why I'm doing that. It's been the same cause since day one, still doing it for the same reason. The exact location of the funds that are going to be directed towards Wildland Trust, that I'm going to release on the 11th of October. And it's a really exciting time because it's going to coincide with the Wildland Trust's big match fortnight. So any funds or any donations made after the 11th of October, or between the 11th of October and then that following 2 weeks, will get tripled, and that money will go straight into the Wildland Trust to a specific project. And that's the project I'm going to be working with, and all will be revealed on the 11th of October. So that's what's happening. I'm back, the Noble Steed will be back. It's currently in the safe hands of Rich Key, being serviced, ready for its ride. And the Wildland Trust is behind the project just as much as I am. Cannot wait to get it off the ground. So keep following. Share as many of my posts as possible. The more people that see what's going on, the more people that can fundraise, the more awareness we can raise, and the more successful this project can be. We've only got 2 weeks this time, not 6, so we've got a lot of work to do in that short amount of time, and it's only happening in 3 weeks. So watch this space, let's see what happens. See you guys. Bye.